Now we're going to move into absolute value of integers. Absolute value refers to the number's distance from 0 on the number line. So if a number is 3, there's going to be 3 spaces. If the number is -3, it's going to also be 3 spaces from that 0. Now, an absolute value is going to be indicated by 2 long lines or bars on either side of the number. Now, here in this case, we're going to use x. You can use n to represent a number, that's fine, x, y, or z. We're using x. So we're going to put the number between those 2 lines, and this is going to represent the value or the absolute value of that number or of x. Now the integers, 3 and -3, are each 3 units from the 0 on the number line, as we were saying. So therefore, 3 and -3 would have the same absolute value because they're both opposites, or they're both on either side in the same location from 0. Since distances are always positive, or 0 would be 0, there's no distance for 0 to go. A distance is always positive. We can't keep a number as a negative. So if we have -3, the distance would be 3 spaces from 0. We would turn that -3 absolute value into 3. We have the absolute value of 5 is 5 spaces. The absolute value of -5 is also 5 because it's 5 places from 0. So let's go ahead and find the absolute value of these numbers. Remember, if I'm going to write an absolute value, I'm going to put the number, whether it's positive or negative, inside the bars, inside the lines. The absolute value of -14, I want you to go ahead and just try this on your own. Okay, let's see what you got. So absolute value of -14 should be 14. Absolute value of 51 is 51, 0, 0, and -81 is 81. Now on your Fitbin, those are going to be different numbers than what you're doing here, but it's the same concept. Now, absolute values can be used as groups, or used in groups, or as grouping symbols. You do have to do the absolute value first, so whatever is inside the absolute value sign or symbols, the lines, you have to do that first. Then you need to follow the order of operations. You will need to do the operations inside the absolute value sign first. So if it's a -3, we need to change it to a 3. Don't I love those -3s? So we're going to go ahead and change the -3 to 3. Anything in the absolute value we change. Then if there's anything that's going to be multiplied, divided, those things we need to do first, then the adding and subtracting. But if we have an addition and subtraction, which one do we do first? If we have a multiplication or division, which one do we do first? We move left to right. Remember the order of operations, we're moving left to right. Let's go ahead, let's try example number 1. And here we're going to do inside the absolute value. So that's 52 minus 8 times 5. So we have to do the multiplication first. 8 times 5 is 40. So 52 minus 40 is going to be 12. And then that's going to give us absolute value of 12 over 10. So absolute value of 12 is just 12. So 12 over 10, that's going to be a fraction. And remember, 12 over 10, that's greater than 10. That will be greater than 1. So that's reduced to 6 over 5, or 1 1/5. Or you can write it as a decimal. Now for example number 2, the absolute value of -8. We're going to do that first. That's going to be an 8. So let's change that absolute value. 3 times 8 plus 4. We have to do the multiplication first. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 4 is 28.